Senator Sanders, will you pay your fair share?
America will never be a socialist country.
I think the issue in this country is the fact that the government has become a lot more powerful than what it was intended to be.
What is up, everybody? Joe Bazraoui here. Very excited for today's show. First thing I want to say right here is subscribe, like, and check out my merch. A lot of people stealing my merch nowadays. Some people online have been stealing my merch, my anti-socialist social club. Ever since I started it, we've been seeing a lot of people copy it. Not going to name names or anything, but a lot of people tend to copy my design. Must be that good of a design, I guess, right? Anyways, let's get right onto the show. And you know what? I was going to talk about Iran a lot today, and then do a Q&A. But just about every single question in the Q&A is about Iran. So I thought maybe let you guys decide how this goes, and that's pretty much going to be about Iran. So let's get on with the show, shall we? So first question, let me just go ahead. It's on my Instagram. If you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, follow me at Joe Bazraoui. Let's see here. All right. So first one is from Zach Lofgren. Zach Lofgren, how you doing, man? I hope you're in the chat right here. What actions should the U.S. take towards Iran? Does this affect the approval rating of President Trump? So this is actually a very good question. If you're not up to date in the news right now with Iran and what's happening in the Middle East, pretty much we killed an Iranian general, and ironically, because who the president is, the Democrats decided, well, we're just going to go ahead and praise this general and say that Trump is wrong for killing a general who is one, works for Iran, which is the number one sponsor for terrorism in the world. 2, works with Hezbollah. 3, has killed and wounded thousands of Americans. 4, has plotted to, and was actually caught plotting recently to kill more Americans. And, there's a lot of reasons why we should have killed this guy. We should kill this guy long time ago, very, very long time ago. But what action should we take? I mean, right now, I am not for endless wars, and it looks like the Middle East is just a place that no matter what the reason is, there's going to be an endless war. I mean, we've been in Iraq and Afghanistan for just about 2 decades now. Enough is enough. I think what Trump is doing now with sanctions is the perfect idea to combat Iran. Now, if you don't know what sort of sanctions we already have on Iran, we've actually put sanctions on the central bank, which pretty much freezes everything. Like, there's no way, shape, or form Iran's going to be able to get money from us whatsoever. So I'm not exactly sure what sort of sanctions Trump would be putting in place now, but I think that it's definitely a good idea to go ahead and place more if possible. Let's move on right here onto the next question. Is Israel in danger? And I'm assuming this has to do a lot with Iran. Like, is Israel in danger because of Iran? Well, Israel's always in danger. That's the truth here. People need to understand that Israel is the size of New Jersey, surrounded by constant enemies. You have Lebanon, which has Hezbollah. You have Gaza in the West Bank that has Hamas. You have Egypt that has a Muslim Brotherhood. Jordan, Syria, Saudi Arabia. Iran, not too far away. Iraq, not too far away. Afghanistan, not too far away. Turkey, not far at all. Surrounded by enemies. And Israel's this tiny little country with not that big of a population. Of course, Israel is in danger, but I trust that Israel is going to do what they can to defend themselves. and I don't think there's gonna be much of a threat, to be quite honest with you. But always a constant danger. Israel needs to definitely make sure that they are defending their people, defending their country. That they have of course, Israel has a right to defend themselves. How do you feel about this war with Iran? It's not a war. It's not a war whatsoever. I don't think there will be a war. Iran shot some missiles or rockets, whatever, at an air base in Iraq that held American soldiers. And no Americans died. No Iraqis died. No one died. But what Iran did do is, ironically, today was confirmed, shoot down a Ukrainian flight. A flight from Tehran to Kiev and Kiev to Canada, which killed, I believe it was around 180 people, died, all civilians. It's disgusting to see Iran actually deny this, saying that it was just an engine failure, when in reality it wasn't an engine failure. A rocket actually did hit the flight, killed many people. The real question here is, what is Canada going to do? What is Ukraine going to do? There's also a couple of people from Britain and Germany on that flight. What are they going to do? No Americans, thank God, but still people died. Innocent civilians died, and it's not okay. So what are those countries going to do? Are they going to defend their country, defend their people, or are they going to just not do anything? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Do you think it was right for Trump to say he would target cultural sites in Iran? I did not hear Trump say that at all. What I did hear Trump say is that we have however so many Iranian targets on site, ready to go, and if Iran tries anything, we will bomb, we will destroy so fast, so quick, so big. I did not hear about cultural sites. I heard about just targets, which I would assume are military targets, not really anything else. Was what just happened with Iran just a giant setup? In brackets, Iran warned everyone about the attack. No, it wasn't a setup. I think it was just a plan to intimidate, to kind of scare the United States a little bit, which didn't work out. I mean, we killed a bunch of their people the other day. They didn't kill any single one of us. I mean, thank God. I don't know if that was their intention to kill or their intention was just to scare. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's good right now for the United States. It's very good right now. Trump is doing well. The approval rating for Trump is still very high. Trump is still polling extremely high. There was just a poll MSM put out, Joe Biden versus Trump. Trump won that poll by a landslide. Trump's winning. Trump's winning big, and there's no doubt about that. Now, going on to these other questions real quick, which I think are really funny. Let me pull up here. Who's your favorite Canadian? Justin Trudeau, Justin Bieber, and Jim Carrey all in a tie. I'm kidding. I hate every single one of those people. Favorite Canadian? I don't know. I don't know. Favorite Canadian to laugh at, though, is Justin Trudeau. He is an idiot, to say the least. Are you, in fact, a Mossad super agent here to kill Trump? I'm not here to kill Trump, but I can't tell you whether I'm a super secret Mossad agent. That's interesting. All right, well, let's go ahead. I mean, I think we kind of talked a lot about Iran. If you have any more questions, feel free to go on my Instagram at Joe Bazraoui. It's here in the corner, on the right corner of the screen. Go on. I have the Q&A up. Also, I do have a poll as to who's more annoying, Greta Thunberg or David Hogg. So far, Greta's winning at 60%, while David's at 40%. And I tend to agree with it. I think Greta is a bit more annoying, I would have to say. I think she's a bit more annoying. Moving on, let's go ahead. I want to talk about something very serious, people. Very, very serious. and that is the anti-Semitic attacks happening in New York, mostly to Hasidic Jews. I don't really have an answer as to why it's still happening. I've heard many different things. If you have an idea as to why we have so many attacks, so many anti-Semitic driven attacks happening in New York recently, put in the chat, DM me on Instagram. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or even tweet at me as well, also at Joe Basrawi. Here's my thing, right? We have, New York is such a diverse city. Large Jewish population, large Latino population, large white population, black population, everything, right? They've got everything in there. Out of all the demographics, you see more pressure happening towards the Jews than anything else. Now, I'm not talking about this simply because I'm Jewish, right? Anti-Semitic attacks have been happening since the beginning of time, right? It's just right now, all of a sudden, there's a massive surge in anti-Semitism in New York. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts, by the way. Go ahead. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. The one thing that really concerns me is why is it just African Americans mostly, for the most part at least, attacking Jews in New York, on the streets of New York, on the subway? And they range from young teenagers to people in their 30s and 40s that are just attacking these people for being Jewish. I saw a video of a Hasidic Jew on a subway with a woman there, and the woman was African American, and she said that the reason why she said something, it wasn't in the video, but he was saying it's racist, you should stop saying that, and she went on and said, well, you don't rent to us because we're black. And he replied with, I don't even own a home, how can I rent to you? But that's a different topic. And it's really interesting when you see the ignorance happening from the one side. Why are Jews always the ones to get prosecuted, harassed, assaulted? FBI put out a report recently that Jews are the #1 victim of hate crime last year. Anti-Semitism will always exist, and I know that for a fact. But I want to know what's triggering it now, and I really don't have an answer. I really, truly don't have an answer. And I don't want to give some stupid answer like, oh, it's just ignorance and culture, it's just blah, 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 whatever. What she said, that woman said in that subway, is something that is purely anti-Semitic, grouping all the Jews, into putting all in one group and saying, no Jews rent to us. It's anti-Semitism, I mean, no doubt. And I'm just confused. I'm just confused. So if you want to give me your thoughts, please do in the chat, on Instagram, on Twitter, tweet at me, whatever, at Joe Basrawi. I really want to know your thoughts on this because I truly have no idea. I truly have absolutely no idea. But anyways, let's get off this topic. It's a little bit somber. It's a little bit much. But let's get into something a little bit more different, a little bit more relevant. And that's the fact that it's been 22 days. It has been 22 days since Nancy Pelosi and her Democrats in the House voted for impeachment. And it passed. It passed in the House. It's been 22 days now, today. And what if I told you that it still hasn't been sent to the Senate? The articles of impeachment have not been sent to the Senate. Why? Nancy, what are you scared of? What are you scared of, Nancy? You said you had a solid case. You said you guys had witnesses and documents and all this proof that Trump's a criminal, he's a crook, he's everything. Why are you scared? Why are you scared? What's wrong? What's wrong, Nancy? I don't see a reason why you wouldn't just go ahead and send it over to the Senate. Send it to Mitch McConnell. Because if the proof is so damning, why don't you just do it? Why won't you just go ahead, send it to the Senate? Give me 1 second, guys. We have a technical difficulty here about our bit rate. For some reason, it's lagging. Let me know in the chat. Am I lagging a little bit? I apologize. That's weird. My bit rate on OBS says I'm fine. I have a good connection. All right, let's see. All right. Anyways, so Nancy, what are you scared of? If you have all this damning evidence and proof, you should just send it over to the Senate. But no, she doesn't want to send it to the Senate. Why? Because she knows. Nancy knows. Crazy Nancy. She knows that she has nothing. Why? Look at the polls. Look at the polling numbers. This impeachment is doing so badly for Democrats. So badly. Just so focused on impeachment. Just infatuated with it. They just want to impeach Trump, and they did. And the funniest thing, and I think you guys can agree with me on this, the funniest thing about this impeachment was when Trump was impeached, I received a plethora of phone calls, DMs, messages that night where it was either people that were scared, they were like, oh my God, my heart just sank, he's impeached, he's done. And then you had the leftists screaming at my face like, yeah, he's no longer president, He's not removed from office. It goes to show that a lot of people need to retake civics class from middle school and learn about impeachment again. And the process of impeachment, because that's not how things work. That's just not how things work in government. That's not how things work in impeachment. Just like Bill Clinton was impeached, but he was not removed from office. Is people just don't get it, do they? Just never get it. But I think it's really interesting that we had this massive pressure from the Democrats, and they were so motivated. And I think as soon as they saw the polling numbers just dip and dramatically drop, they're like, oh my God, we're doing the wrong thing. We're doing the wrong thing. We have a bunch of Democrats in the House that are in swing states that back in 2016 were Trump districts, or sorry, they were swing districts. Back in 2016, they were all Trump districts. And they're going to lose next year, or this year rather. It's 2020 now. Happy New Year, by the way. They're going to lose later this year, and Trump's going to win. No Democrat right now currently that is running can actually beat Donald Trump. It's impossible. Joe Biden has wet, hairy legs and likes to touch kids and talks about cockroaches, which we still have not gotten the context of his comment about cockroaches, or his wet, hairy legs, or why he sniffs kids. Elizabeth Warren just yesterday had some cringy rally where she was dancing, and I just didn't understand. Like, I don't dance, and I dance better than Elizabeth Warren does, and that is sad, because I can't dance. You have Bernie Sanders that's having no momentum. You have Pete Buttigieg that's having a little bit more momentum, but still absolutely will not and cannot be anyone else, and will not and cannot be Donald Trump. And it doesn't matter who they put as their VP. If it's Castro, if it's Beto, or Bobby O'Rourke, or it's anyone. Trump cannot be beat. Why? People are looking at the economy. They're looking at the strength that this country has again. A strength that people missed, that Obama just stripped away. People are seeing that. They're like, wow, this country is great now. I'm able to provide for my family now. I'm able to send my kids to a good school. I'm able to get better health care now. I got a raise at work. I am able to save money for a new car or for whatever. People are actually seeing that America is not only great again, it is safe again. It is strong again. And America is just all in general a fantastic country. And it's all because of this administration's work. We see tax cuts gave people a tremendous amount of leeway to use their money for what they want. Use it for what they want to do, not give your money to the government. And I always ask my leftist friends and just leftists I run into in general, I always ask them, I say, if you want to give the government more money, answer me this question. Do you trust the government? They typically say no. I don't. I said, okay. Tell me one thing the government has done correctly or efficient. They'll name one thing and then I'll debunk it, or they'll just say nothing. Okay, well, why would you want to give the government more money and power then? What's the point of that? Because you want to raise taxes on the rich. You want to have the government, provide free healthcare, and free education, and free this and free that, and all kind of stuff. But you don't trust the government, and you can't even name one thing that the government has done correctly. A lot of people say the roads. Okay, the roads. The government does a great job at the roads. First off, no. If you're from Pennsylvania like I am, you know that roads are crap. And a lot of the roads in America are third world country rated roads. They're horrendous. You go to Florida, they're horrendous. You go to Jersey, they're a little bit better, but they're still pretty terrible. New York, they're horrendous. You go everywhere. There's just construction all over the place, and the roads never get better. So the government doesn't do roads correctly. I'm like, okay, well, what about the military? Well, military's pretty damn good, but the problem is the government does not control the military great because we've been in an endless war, 2 endless wars in the Middle East for the last 2 decades. Doesn't seem like it's efficient. Okay, well, then they say, oh, well, education. I'm sorry, public education is crap. We're, 23 in the world right now, United States? Government doesn't do well in that. They just never seem to name something that the government actually does correctly or efficiently or any way, shape, or form good. You just can't. But yet, these socialists, they want to give the government more money and more power and more this and more that. Just so, if we give the government more money, they can give us health care. Okay? Or the government can tax you far less than what they are now, so you can get your own health care and you can send your kids to a school of your choice. What sounds better? Well, I'd like to make my own decisions. But then you have that bunch of people that just can't make a decision on their own at all. So they just want to rely on something. And that something is the government to them. It's sad. It's pathetic, to be quite honest with you. This upcoming semester, I know in some places it's already the next, the spring semester for you. I'm going on a tour to talk about Israel, and I'm going to multiple campuses. I'll be at UMass, I'll be at Purdue, UCF, and, I just cannot wait to talk to these college students that believe in socialism. Because when you're in college, you cannot, you're really not an adult yet because you don't have any responsibilities. You go to class, you go back to your dorm, you do your homework, you eat, you party, whatever. You're not an adult. You're not really working. Most people don't work in college. You're not really paying anything because you have either your parents or the federal government's paying for your education there. And you don't have to worry about those bills till 6 months after you graduate. And everything's provided for you. You have dining facilities, you have housing, you have everything's just there and provided for you, practically to you for free. I don't see people waking up until 6 months after they graduate, and now they have bills to pay, and they're like, wait, how much debt am I in right now? I got to pay that? Well, how do I pay that? Well, you get a job, and then, by the way, that paycheck every 2 weeks when you're working, yeah, let's say you get $1,500 every 2 weeks. Well, that's actually cut down to about $1,200 because taxes, which kind of makes the bill paying process a lot slower. Oh, and then you gotta get a house. You have to pay for car insurance. You have to pay for health insurance. You have to pay for all this. And now they start to get that socialism isn't a great idea. That they wish they had more of their money in their pocket rather than just tossing it at the government. I see the government as a drug addict that asks for money all the time. Like every 2 weeks, they just ask for money. Except that drug addict has a gun pointed at you saying, give me this much money out of your income or I'm going to, kill you. So then you're forced to give it money. But then what they say is, oh, it's going to a good cause. But then again, they just put a gun to your face. And remember, they're drug addicts, which means, the government's a drug addict, so they spend their money on unnecessary things.